I am super excited to get to talk to y'all today about this new 2025 NuCamp Tab 360. This is a brand new floor plan from NuCamp for 2025. And I'm so excited because not only is this an awesome trailer to look at that is easy to tow by a ton of different vehicles out there in the market, but also it's really high quality, better quality than most all other travel trailers out there in the market. So not only do we get to see what that better quality looks like, we also get to see what price is associated with that better quality, which I think sparks up some interesting conversation around the idea of like RVs not being that good quality and what it would take to increase quality, and then what cost would be associated with that, so we can decide, is that a price that we'd be willing to pay, or is maybe having the highest quality standards not the most important thing and price is more important? All things that we can get into with this little camper here, so let's go take a look. And I must apologize, y'all. As you can see, obviously this has jumped now to a different day and still same trailer that we're looking at, but different day, because when I got back home and looked through this footage, I realized that I had lost the audio everywhere after the point where that video just cut off. So we're gonna try my best to restate everything that I said in the video and go back through this. So what I was saying is, NuCamp RV is called an RV manufacturer. By the way, got married, got some new hardware here on the hand, so really excited about that. You'll be able to see more information about Megan and I getting married on my Firmly Unbound YouTube channel. I did have a videographer there and stuff like that, and you'll be able to see more about that on my Firmly Unbound YouTube channel. Link down below in the comments and description there for that. Now, NuCamp RV is called an RV manufacturer because this is classified as an RV. Even though it's small, even though it doesn't have an engine, it is still a type of an RV. Now, we're also talking about just kind of the pricing and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get too much further into that because we'll just talk about different things as we go through this little travel trailer here. But let me go ahead and take you inside, and let's go hop inside and see what's going on in here. First of all, right when you open the door, as we go through this, I am going to point out things that certainly cost more money in the build of this boondock camper, sorry, I was looking at the word right there. In this NuCamp camper that has the boondock package, like this door handle here is not a traditional door handle that you see on any travel trailer. The interior of this door here, that kind of gives me like an airline kind of feel, almost feels like you're inside the you know, maybe like the bathroom of an airline, for lack of a better sense. This is not normal. Even like the seals that you see on the door here, this custom latch system that you see right here. Like if you don't want the door to close, you can leave that latch permanently, you know, kind of in this compressed position so that it doesn't latch the door shut. These are all unique things, and you can feel the seals on everything here different. The way this door closes, I mean, this seal right here goes all the way up to the edge of the door right there, which is not what most travel trailers do. And then you have all these different seals back behind here as well. You can feel with just the way the door latches shut that it feels different. It's just different. It's better quality. That's why it costs more. Right when we walk in, you have this step here. The step will fold up underneath the trailer as you need that to go inside. And you have a shade here on the window, and you also have a bug screen here on the entry door. Little pockets here for storage inside of the door, as you can see there. And then let's step inside here. And as we step inside, really nice look inside of this travel trailer. It has this light looking cabinetry, and then every one of your cabinet doors and drawers will have latches here to hold those closed while you're going down the road. Now, I'm not sure. I do know for sure that these are all like, all of the cabinetry and stuff in here is all Amish handmade, but this material here, I don't know exactly what it is. It feels very, very solid, but it doesn't, I don't know if it's just like a laminate material over the wood, which would kind of make it similar to something like an Airstream, the way the Airstream does a lot of their construction in their less expensive models, the ones that aren't like over $150,000. That's the way the Airstream does a lot of their construction on their cabinets, and this here looks pretty similar to what you would see in a lot of the Airstreams, like a Bambi or a Caravelle and things like that. All of your windows, again, dual pane tinted windows, you're going to have bug shades that come down from the top on these windows, and then privacy shades that come up from the bottom. Love that they oriented that way, so you have good sense of privacy. Like, you can look out this window, but obviously if anybody was able to see in, they wouldn't be able to see from my neck down. So really like that there. And then every one of the windows in here, except for like your window on the door, will open up. And as we turn back around, you can see it has a twin bed set up in here. Now this is going to stay permanently in this bed configuration, but check out just how long this bed is right here. So I'm gonna set the camera up and show you the size of this bed. It is pretty spectacular. Oh goodness, sorry for shaking the camera so much. Okay, show you the bed here. And I'm sorry, sometimes I just don't cut and edit stuff out of my videos because I want this to feel like just a genuine, authentic walkthrough of this camper with you guys. I don't want it to feel like some produced thing, because it's really not what it is. You know, I'm just walking through this camper with you guys just like a regular person would if you showed up to a dealership. This bed here, I am 6'1". My head is touching the wood up here, and so you can see this bed is probably about 6'4", maybe 6'5" in length without the cushions right here. So great length on the bed, and it's also pretty wide, and it's not too terribly uncomfortable. So that's your length on the bed here. This bed also is going to be the same length where the dining table is, which is really exciting that you have that large of a sleeping space inside of here, even though it doesn't look that big. I mean, almost anyone, if you're, again, as long as you're under like 6'5", you'll be able to very comfortably spread out on these beds. As we go along this area, you're going to have your microwave right here. So a little small microwave. It does not have the air fryer combo with that. A lot of people ask and say like, oh, there's no air conditioner on these travel trailers. Well, there is, you just don't see it. The air conditioner is up underneath this bench right here, and it is ducted throughout this whole camper. So right now the AC is on. There's cold air blowing out from there. There's cold air blowing out from right here. So if you're sleeping on this bed, if you want your head to be right under that vent, you can get nice cold air blowing on your head the whole night. Or if you want cold air blowing on your feet, you can have cold air blowing on your feet the whole night with the location of that vent. Obviously, you can close that as well if you want to. Same thing with this right here. You have another vent over this bed. This is blowing air down on me directly. I can actually feel that air from where I'm sitting at right now. And that vent also goes down into the bathroom. So you can open that if you want air going into the bathroom, close it if you want to push more air out this way. You have a vent here up over this space. That is that bigger max air vent fan there. And then coming back into this area, another aspect where we see really good construction is you have dovetail joints on your drawers. So you can see those dovetail joints there on the drawers. Really thick plywood construction on these. So yeah, this kind of gives us a clear indication that they're probably using like some sort of plywood construction with maybe a laminate material over the top of it, which is exactly how Airstream does a lot of their campers. These dovetail joints though, this is going to be something that you only see in Brinkley in a travel trailer. There's no other travel trailers out there that I can think of other than like Brinkley that is doing these dovetail joints on their drawer constructions. And you know, Brinkley's going to be considerably more expensive than what this is, and there's a reason that Brinkley is so expensive. It's because they're doing things like this. There's also a reason why NuCamp is so expensive, and it's because they're doing things like that. Back here you have USB ports, USB Type A and Type C ports back here on both sides of the bed. You have these little sliding storage areas back through here. And then back underneath here, you also have a Battleborn 100 amp hour lithium battery. Again, another very expensive piece of equipment. I don't know any travel trailers out there that are coming standard with a lithium battery. And actually, you know, now that I say, you know, as I classify that as standard, I don't know that this lithium battery here is actually standard with this NuCamp package, or if it's just part of like the Boondock or Black Canyon package. That is something I'm not certain on. So if somebody has like certain information on that, this part of this channel, you guys are a part of it, and any information you may possess that I don't, let me know down below in the comments, because my thought is that not every single one of these is going to come with that lithium battery, because those things are really dang expensive. On your windows here, every one of your windows is going to open up. So you can see this window back here. It will open up like so, and it has all these latches along the sides here. Just for reference too, that space that I opened it up to, that is as far as it will open up right there. And then you can latch it into space with these right here. You can twist those to keep it locked into place. And then you latch the door or the window and seal it back up just by twisting all of these back into their place. So again, how many windows in RVs are done in this manner here? Basically none. This is another thing here that costs more money for NuCamp to do. They could put traditional regular RV style windows on here like what you see on everything else and make it not cost so much money. But every little thing that they do costs $100 more, $200 more, maybe $500 more. And then you add that up over a list of like dozens and dozens of things, and that's where you get a more expensive RV. Even though this thing is so small, that is why it is priced around $40,000, because it just has a long list of things that aren't seen in normal RVs. And add on top of that, when you have a brand like NuCamp here, NuCamp is not selling thousands of RVs a month. That is not their goal. That is not the kind of business that they are. They are not building something where they are wanting to sell thousands of RVs every year. They are just wanting to sell a few hundred. And that also comes with a higher price tag. They just don't have the ability to order materials and parts and things like that in such mass bulk numbers that they can get those margins to a super, super low point. So that's another thing there that adds on to the price as well. That doesn't necessarily have to do with the quality, it has to do with the fact that you're getting a more unique trailer that is not just going to be like every other travel trailer out there in existence, because they're not making something that a wide range of people are going to be interested in. It's more of a niche product, which there does come a higher price with that. Not because they're trying to capitalize on there not being many of these, because there's a bunch of different teardrop brands out there that make teardrop trailers. They're more so forced into that position because to stay alive as a business, they can't order things at the absolute lowest price possible, because they can't order the bulk number of things that you need to get at one time to get that like super cheap lowest price possible that some of these other brands can do when they order their parts to build their trailer. They have to order it at a bit higher price. And on top of that, some of the things in here have to just be built custom because it's a custom designed trailer. It's not your standard traditional travel trailer. So there's some things here that have to be done differently than other brands, and NuCamp has to figure out their own solutions for that. So all these different things add on to what the price is that you're seeing in a NuCamp trailer. And some people see the value in that and some people don't, and that's okay. There's a lot of people out there that don't want something this small to begin with, but then complain about the price of these as if it's something outrageous. And it's like, what does it matter to you? You were never a customer for these anyways. And so it's just funny to me, all the talks about price and stuff like that. And maybe I'm going into this a little too much, but the reason I'm going into this is because I already posted the TikTok video of this trailer to TikTok. It got over 1 million views on TikTok, and every comment in that video is talking about how outrageous the price is. So I'm trying to give a little bit of deeper information into that in this video, because it's just something I can't do in a quick TikTok video. So anyways, let's move on. Down in this area, you have another outlet right here. And then coming along this side, you have a little pocket for storage here. You have your speaker up underneath this area. Both sides are going to get these individual reading lights. Now they only have the blue light function there. So that's going to be a very soft blue light. You can see that's also on this side here. And then identical storage up on this space. See your little cubby area in there. Looks like they also have some holes here to add in shelving if that's something you want to do. I don't know if it comes with the shelves or not. I do know, like down underneath here, there is a couple different pieces of wood in here, which I don't know that those are for shelving inside of cabinets or what. But you have some storage space underneath there, and I haven't like taken the time to, I don't want to unbubble wrap that equipment there because I want the owner to get to do that. So I'm just not exactly sure where those pieces go. There is no way to combine these beds in these models, or in this particular model, in this Tab 360. So if you want a more traditional, just single bed, then you can look at things like the Tab 320 or the Tab 400 if that's what you're after, because they do make other models, and that's where you're going to find more of a traditional bed setup. Bigger storage through here. Again, you can see that spot where it looks like a, you know, where they have holes here, so a shelf could be added in that space. And it's very possible those pieces of wood that I was looking at under the bed are those shelves for inside of these cabinets. Controls right here for your water tank levels. You also have some light controls here and your water pump. See, oh, look at that. That nice accent lighting that was not even on. I was wondering why I felt like there was a missing pop of something in here. And that is going to be that individual accent light there for this area. Now, ceiling height in here is pretty dang good as well. If I turn the camera around, again, I'm standing at 6'1". feels like the ceiling height in here is probably good for up to about 6'4" or so, maybe 6'5" before someone's gonna feel like they're really starting to have to like scrunch over. But pretty dang good there in terms of ceiling height as well. And then obviously as the ceiling slants down, it gets shorter, but then you're into an area where once it's slanting down, you can just sit down in this area and you don't have to be standing in that space. Going forward up here, another custom thing that we see in this NuCamp is this refrigerator and freezer. These dimensions and size of this refrigerator is pretty much different than anything else that I can think of that I've seen in a travel trailer. You have your freezer portion here with the door that opens up to the side. And then this is a compressor fridge. So the way that the cooling mechanism in this works is they don't need to vent anything out from this refrigerator. And so that allows them to build it deeper back so you can get this really, you know, vertical looking fridge that has good depth to it in this space here. Storage space up into this area. Even just noticing things too, like in the ceiling, like they have this piping here along the sides that just makes the edges of where everything goes into the ceiling there look good. All composite materials in here as well, so no luan in the side walls. I believe even the flooring in here is a composite style flooring there, so all of your things, whether it's the flooring, the sidewalls, are not susceptible, to moisture damage, which is very nice. Another custom thing here is this sink and 2-burner stove here, all encompassed in the same area. Again, something that is going to cost more money because it's not just a generic part that they can order from somebody who produces these components for RVs. This is a very unique thing. It's going to cost more money having something like this here, where you have that 2-burner stove and that sink all encompassed in the same area. But really nice. Think of how easy that's going to make cleaning this space out. I mean, that's about as easy as it gets. And you do lose some countertop space because of just the way this overall trailer is designed. But again, that's something, if you like the idea of a trailer like this but want more countertop space, you can look at something like the Tab 400 trailer that will be a little bit bigger. Now, what is not lacking is the amount of storage. There's a ton of storage in here. This is a really deep drawer there. You can fit a lot of stuff inside of here. And again, just remember the construction on these drawers is really solid. So even the base of them is so solid that you can load in a lot more weight into these drawers safely than you can a traditional travel trailer. Soft close drawers on that. This is going to be access to your stove components right there, although you could put some things underneath there if you wanted to, I suppose. Same thing here, access into your sink area. See some plumbing lines going down underneath from that sink, which is why when you open this up, there's going to be a split portion there in this area. The soft close is just so nice on the drawers. I love that. Drawers here, and I'm just going to show you all the storage. So if you are potentially looking at a trailer like this, you can understand what kind of space you have to work with in terms of storage. Open this up, that's all one area down underneath there. So nice big spot. You can easily fit some pots and pans in some of these different spots, especially here and here. You'd be able to fit pots and pans and things like that. But even on a trailer like this, I think, like in my travel trailer, I just have one pan that is kind of a do-it-all stainless steel pan that I do just about everything with. And I don't know how long it will be until I'll ever feel the need to buy anything in addition to that. And I think a lot of people would feel the same way, where they actually would probably be able to get away with just one pot or pan to do all your cooking needs and you're good. I would hope, at least, but you can let me know if you feel any differently about that. You have your TV right here, so great spot for anybody just sitting, hanging out to be able to view that TV. And then you have some hooks here in this area, so you can hang some things here and here. You also have hooks here for like bath towels and stuff like that. And then as we come back to the dining area, let me start showing you kind of what's going on here, because to drop this down into a bed, it's so simple. You just lift this up. It has this like locking hinge right there, and that will allow that to drop flat. This cushion can kind of just scoot back like so. When you lift it up, multiple different positions you can lock it in, so you kind of have this nice comfortable spot to lay down, even with this, you know, kind of position like this. Or you can continue to raise up the incline on that to wherever you want, and then eventually it breaks and will drop back down. With this table here, it's pretty dang impressive how lightweight this table is. And I want to know what the material that this table was made out of, because it's just so lightweight. Unfortunately, I do not know, but it feels super solid, but it also feels like it could be like hollow inside of there. I'm not exactly sure. And it doesn't really feel like it's a plastic, but I mean, I can hold it with one hand, which makes this very easy. Just drop this leg down here, and then you drop this down to the second latch system on the wall, and boom, you have your foundation for the bed there. And then you just take these back cushions from the other side, fill these in here. Super easy to do. And you have a bed. And again, bed lengths on these are going to be identical to one another. So same size bed on this side as you have on this side. This one will just have more of these, you know, kind of cracks in where the cushions are because of how it's set up. So this would be an awesome like single person trailer to travel around in, because it literally gives you a bed and a dining table in about the smallest size of a camper that you will find a bed and a dining table in, which is a pretty cool concept that they came up with. I think whether it's somebody that wants to travel solo, or maybe they have a spouse or something like that that will occasionally travel with them. Lots of different, you know, practical ways I could see a camper like this working for somebody. Get this back into place here and drop this leg down. And that is how you get it from a bed to a table, just like that. So then from here, we have our bathroom space. So let's go ahead and look here at the bathroom. Now in the bathroom, it is a wet bath. Some people will call this like the triple S combo. If you know what that means, you can let people know down below in the comments. But a wet bath basically means that your shower and your toilet are in the same room. So you have the faucet here that works as a shower head, and then it goes down to the sink, so you can also use it as a faucet for the sink. You have your spot for your toilet paper here. Again, even things like this, these are all custom things that NuCamp does. They're just different from other travel trailers. They cost a little bit extra money. Even this like non-traditional faucet and things like that there. Here's your AC vent going here into the bathroom space, so you can see how that works. And again, your vent fan is right here, so not too far from this bathroom area. Now, ceiling height in here is not going to be fantastic. Taking a shower standing up for me would really not even be an option. Like I would have to squat the whole time. So I stand straight up, definitely, you know, crinked over quite a bit. So taking a shower sitting down doesn't seem problematic to me. Maybe it might for y'all, but that's kind of just what you're going to be working with in a travel trailer like this, is taking a shower in a seated position. It does have a 5-gallon cassette style black tank, so we'll see what that looks like when we go outside. But you can see your toilet right here. This is another one of those things that is just different from everything else. It's not a traditional toilet. It is literally built into the kind of design of this bathroom. This is something that obviously is going to cost more money than just like your standard traditional toilet. So just such a long list of things that add up to make this more expensive. Has an Aldi heating system. So if we turn back around this way, you can see the Aldi panel right here. Your AC and your heat is going to be controlled on here, but this Aldi heating system is basically like a radiant heating system that is really, really efficient. So it's going to basically heat the coach from the bottom up, and is really, really nice how that system works. It also operates as a tankless water heater through there. That Aldi heating system is a much more premium heating system in the RV world than just a standard traditional furnace. So that also costs more money. And I think that's just about everything in this space here. I think that's it. I think that is everything. So let me show you the last couple pieces of storage through here that I did not show. There's a drawer right here next to this area. Your audio controls from Jensen right there. Also another drawer under here, real close to the kitchen space, and then one other spot for storage right there. Also, is this an access panel or something? Oh, okay. That might be for the Aldi heating system right there. But yeah, it just has some little latches there that allows that to be opened up. And I think that's everything on the inside. So curious what your thoughts are, what y'all think about the inside of this camper. And then let's go ahead and hop back outside and talk about what's going on with the rest of the outside. So open this door up, step out here. And as we step outside, a couple other things on teardrop trailers that are really cool too, or just one other thing I guess, is you have this system right here. This is like a rail system that goes along the entire edge of the camper here. There are a bunch of third-party accessories you can get for teardrop trailers that will allow you to convert this outside space using this rail system. So things like a covered awning, can go into that rail system there. There's things like a whole outdoor patio set that comes with like sidewalls and everything that you can snap into that set right there. So lots of different versatility you get with that function from that. Down underneath here, you have red lights underneath the trailer, so you can get that cool underglow look with this. That's part of the Black Canyon package. You also can see it does have nice like secured underbelly areas here inside of or underneath the trailer. And it does have, from what I understand, with this Black Canyon package, I also saw that that has 12-volt heat pads on the water tanks as well. As we step back this way, again, up here, you don't have like traditional sorts of arrangements here for where propane bottles and things like that would store. There's no other travel trailers out there that have like a metal box up here for your storage on the front end of the camper, except for, again, something like a Brinkley. Brinkley does that with some of their models. So more expensive here than just having nothing or just like a little plastic cover for your propane bottles. This costs more money as well. And when we open this up, you have those little rubber pieces there to hold it in place and a latch here as well. Nice big storage here. There's your wheel that can go on the tongue jack. That will allow you to move this around more freely. And here is your propane bottle. Plus they have a little opening right here. So if you want to tie something into that propane bottle there, like an outdoor griddle or grill, you can do that very easily. And then you also have nice storage back behind here through that piece there. So all very nice with that. Again, that wheel, when you connect that, that will allow you with these grab handles to legitimately be able to move this by hand. Fiberglass roof here. You have the flexible solar panels up there on the roof. Has 190 watts of solar, and I'll hopefully remember to get into solar here a little bit before the end of the video. But let's come over here real quick and show this cassette style black tank, because this here is definitely one of the more polarizing things about an RV like this. Your black tank is going to drain into this suitcase looking thing, even has an extendable handle, and you can basically take this and dump this wherever you want. Now, a lot of just weird people online are like, oh, you can just dump it on the side of the street, and it's like, no, I would hope that I don't have to, you know, tell you how to ethically go about dumping your black tank. So when I say you can dump it wherever you want, that means that you don't have to just, you're not stuck to and confined to finding a black tank dump area somewhere around the country. You can get back home, and if you want to, you could take that into your bathroom at home and dump it into your toilet in your house and flush it down your own sewage system at your home. So you don't have to make a stop to dump your black tanks on the way home. That's just one option. There's many different ways that you can dump a cassette toilet tank like that. None of them are just doing it on the side of the road or just like on the street somewhere or whatever. You know, that's not what that means. It just gives you more flexibility and versatility with how you can go about dumping your black tank. Coming along the backside here and along this side of the camper, you have your Nautilus water management system here. So this is going to be all of your water connections in that space, and it does have a hole there to feed your water lines through, so you can keep that closed. So you can see everything back in this space, and there are your tank heaters. So your black and gray tank, or sorry, your freshwater tank and gray tank heaters there as part of that Black Canyon package. So there's confirmation on that. Tapered off back end. This is going to give it more off-road capabilities, giving you more ground clearance. If you're ever going through like something where you're having to go down, then back up, obviously the tail end of the camper there is what's most vulnerable to damage. That tapered off back end here is going to allow for a lot more clearance there, going off-road a bit more. You also have all-terrain tires, and it has a, on the axles here, has a pitched axle to help get it up off the ground a little bit more. And it's kind of hard to see from down underneath here. We don't really get a good angle. And you also have stabilizers here along the back, as you can see there. So you can't drop those stabilizers down. And even just like, yo, underneath here, do you understand, like, this is all, like, that's a solid material right there underneath this travel trailer. That's not just like some soft, flexible base of the travel trailer here. Everything on this is just built to a different standard than your standard RVs and your standard travel trailers, which is why, again, it's more money. So if you think about it, if you take so many things about the way this is built and what makes it so well built, and you apply it to other travel trailers, you're basically looking at every travel trailer being priced at the price point of a Brinkley if you're going to have you know, this kind of build quality in every trailer. It's going to make your Alliance Delta ultralights priced at, you know, these would be a $60,000, $70,000 trailer if they were built to the quality standards of what this is, for these companies to even remain alive and exist and be able to pay people and pay their employees and all these different things. So lots of different reasons why these cost so much money, and why other trailers, even though they're bigger, may not cost as much, because it just isn't packed full of the more higher end quality aspects that you're getting from a travel trailer like this. On solar, so a lot of people with a camper like this will definitely be questioning whether or not they can boondock in this or dry camp, which is essentially going to mean run all different components of this trailer from the solar package that's coming on here. Now, the first misconception with solar is like, it really doesn't matter how much solar panels you have, because solar in and of itself is not powering anything. Solar is drawing energy and then sending it to a power storage source like a battery. So the solar panels are going to charge your battery, and then your battery is actually what's going to power different things. So you have the solar panels just to keep a continual charge going to the battery as the battery is consuming energy from different components that are drawing from the battery. Now the problem with the battery is it's a 12-volt electrical system. Things like your air conditioner, your microwave, your outlets, those do not run on a 12-volt system. Those run on a 110 electrical system. So then what you have to have is you have to have an inverter that inverts your power from your battery from 12 volt to 110 volt. And this here does not have an inverter on the camper. I did not see one anywhere. If for some reason that's incorrect, please correct me in the comments. But I didn't see an inverter anywhere. I don't see any information about an inverter on this camper, so it doesn't seem like there's an inverter. So right away, if you want to run different components on this travel trailer with the solar and battery, that is going to require an inverter that can invert your battery power to 110 so that you can run things like a air conditioner, for instance. Now with just a 100 amp hour lithium battery, you're not going to be able to run something like an air conditioner for more than maybe like an hour, if that at best. I don't know exactly how long it will last, and that's even with the sun being out. So if you actually want to be able to run the AC like all night long, maybe you want to go camp somewhere where it's warmer and you're going to want to run the AC for at least like 6 hours during the night, you're going to need a much bigger battery bank than just 100 amp hours of battery, and you're going to need a good enough inverter to invert the power to things like your air conditioner to get that 12 volt power to power on your air conditioner. So lots of different complications with that can get pretty costly. It can be done, but a much simpler solution and much more cost-effective solution is just something like a generator like this right here. Basically like $1,000 generator, 4,500 watt generator, that will run this entire camper completely. And even if you have the best solar setup possible to run this whole camper by itself off of just solar and battery, I would still keep a generator as a backup just in case, because like today, the sun's not always shining, and that system is not fail-proof the way that, as long as you have a generator that has gasoline and all the components working properly, is going to perform 365 days of the year regardless of what the weather is outside. So I would always recommend a generator no matter what, if that's what you're planning to do, especially if you're going to more remote places. But also the great thing about having an RV like this is you can pick it up and take it somewhere else. So if you're trying out a different camping idea and trying to dry camp or boondock and it's not working out for you, you can just hook up to your truck and go somewhere else. So that's always an option too if you're just trying to figure all these things out. But that is pretty much it, y'all. It's pretty much everything on this camper here. Again, this is the 2025 NuCamp Tab 360. Very curious your thoughts and what you think down below in the comments. So let me know there. And of course, if you're looking for your next RV, there's a link down below in the comments and description to help you find a location close to you where you can find your next RV. This one here that I'm looking at today is at Blue Compass RV in Denton, Texas. But Blue Compass has over 100 different stores across the United States from coast to coast. So they're all over the place to help you out, and we are here to help when you're ready. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.